All right, all right, all right. Take two. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible. We're going to make this an incredible session. So, incredible greetings, everyone. How are you doing? We're going to get through this tracing. I promise you, we're going to get through it. All right. So, hello, everyone. Welcome in. As you guys come in, double tap the screen. Give the video a like. Drop a hey, how you doing? Let me know where you are watching from. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm going to just go ahead and get this shared out while people make their way into the room. If you are watching the playback of this, this is a live broadcast. Therefore, we can't jump straight into the instructions of it all, and the full on demonstration and teaching, because this is a live broadcast. We want to make sure that, we get a few people in the room first. So we are going to share this out. I have to share it out to some groups and things of that nature. And we are going to get started momentarily. So if you are watching this, you may want to jump ahead a little bit to jump ahead a few minutes or so. If you're watching the playback of this, what I'll do is, because I need to share it out, I'm going to put my thumbnail on the screen. And if you want to fast forward through, once you see the screen come back, that's where you know where we are starting the actual tutorial. But in the meantime, in between time, go ahead, drop a hey, how you doing in the chat, in the comments. If you're watching the playback of this, let us know where you're watching from. Let me know if you are a current Silhouette Studio user or if you are brand new to Silhouette Studio. Let us know in the chat, all right, or in the comments if you're watching the playback of this. So I'm just going to go through and share this video out. And I just realized I wasted my @everyone on the last video. Oh, great. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and share. I can't use my @everyone again. You only get one of those per day. All right, so while I share this out, I'm going to go ahead and also introduce myself since I have it copy and pasted. I don't have to type it out this time. So my name is Shakia Lavelle. I go by Shakia the Professor. I have been teaching Silhouette Studio as a design platform for nearly a decade. So nearly 10 years I have been teaching this. I came across this system 11 years ago, right before my niece came about for her baby shower. I had been using Cricut many years before I found Silhouette. And when Provo Craft sued Shortcuts a lot, Make the Cut, and you could not use outside programs to design, because I've always been a designer. I started designing 26 years ago when I took my first graphic design class. But once I came across this system, I fell in love with it. And our original name was Silaholics Anonymous, because just like with all the other ones, it became an addiction. Like, I love just going into this program. I was an Adobe user. I was a Photoshop and Illustrator user, Corel Draw. But to find this program and see that a lot of the things that you are able to do in some of the more robust programs, the fact that you could do them, do some of those tasks in a free, like if you didn't know, Silhouette Studio is absolutely free. Absolutely free. There's no obligation to buy anything. You don't have to get the machine in order to use Silhouette Studio. You can just use it as a standalone program. You just have to go over to their website, silhouetteamerica.com, and download the software. All right. They do have upgrades like Designer Edition, Designer Plus, Business Edition. There are one-time fees for those, and it unlocks a lot of additional features. Things like being able to open up SVGs. If you are a Cricut user, right, You come from the world of Cricut. This is new to you because you want to be able, like you decided to come over to Silhouette Studio or just explore it because you heard that you can do bigger print and cuts. If you have a machine, so maybe you have a Cricut machine and you're going to get a Silhouette machine because you want to be able to do bigger print and cuts. You want to be able to cut with no mat on standard 12-inch wide vinyl. You want it, if you're just using it for the program, you want it to be able to print a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, a full 8.5 by 14, 11 by 17. If you are someone that's doing sublimation, and now that you're introducing sublimation, you got Silhouette Studio so that you can print out your sublimation designs and not have to worry about the what's those things called? The registration marks. There's a lot of reasons why people kind of get into Silhouette Studio, and you discover it for for different things, like just printing out. But if you come from the Cricut world, you are used to using SVGs, right? Those are those files that are layered. You can separate them. You can cut them from cardstock. You can cut them from adhesive vinyl, HTV, things of that nature. Well, you can open them up in Silhouette Studio, but you have to have the paid version because they allow you to do so much from the free version of Silhouette Studio. The things that make your life a little bit easier, they charge you for it. But it is a one-time fee for Designer Plus, and business. I'm not going to get too much into what those differences are. We have a few videos where we've gone over that. We want to focus on tracing today, but know that it is an option to use the file. So if you already have like a large library, large download of SVG files, you can use them, but you are going to have to upgrade. Now, SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphic. That vector part. Vector just means that you have pieces that you can fill in with color, right? And you're able to move them around. You're able to separate them. You're able to take that shape and simply fill it in with a pattern without doing like clipping masks and things of that nature. Vector also means for a program or for systems like a cutting machine, a laser cutter, what else? A CNC router, things like that. Vector gives it a path because there's like little connectors, and that tells a blade, that tells a laser where to actually cut at. Vector files are also great for digitizing. They can be the difference in how much you pay a digitizer to make an embroidery file, because if it's already vector, it'll be a lot easier for them to assign the different types of stitches. Whereas if it is just a flattened PNG or JPEG, they will have to still trace that out. So there's a lot of benefits to learning how to create vector images. Silhouette Studio gives you the ability to create a vector, not quite an SVG, because SVG is just a file format. You have to save something as an SVG, and you have to have Business Edition to save directly from Silhouette Studio as a SVG. But to have that same feel, for it to operate the same way an SVG does, Silhouette Studio has what's called tracing. All right, and that's what we're going to focus on today. Tracing allows you to take an image that is flattened, a JPEG or a PNG, even if it has a white background around it, and make it where you can fill in the color. So with these coloring book pages, we're going to be able to fill them in with color to use however you see fit. Party favors, digital files, invitations, flyers, tags, T-shirts, mugs, tumblers. Once you have it filled with color, there's no limit to how you can use it. You can turn it into a canvas. What a lot of people will do also is take these and they will make the canvases where they're going to cut it from HTV, press it to canvas for kids to paint inside. You can also sublimate this to canvas. It's not going to be like a really bright, vibrant, but it's enough where people can see the outlines and then have paint parties. And I'll tell y'all, there's so much that you can do when you learn Silhouette Studio. It's absolutely bananas. All right, I'm right at 10 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. Again, as you guys come in, make sure you double tap the screen. Give this video a like. come in and say hello. Let me know where you are watching from. And let me know if you are a current Silhouette user or if you are a newbie to Silhouette Studio, okay? All right. So watching from Northeast Texas. Hello, hello. Maryland in the building. Welcome, welcome in. Watching from Milwaukee. I use Silhouette, current Silhouette Studio user. I use Silhouette for designing rhinestones. Hello there. Watching from Michigan. Incredible afternoon from Philly. New user of Silhouette. Still much to learn. This is why I originally purchased Silhouette Studio. For that reason, then I found the professor. Incredible day. Hello from Cali. I'm a newbie, beginner, watching from New Hampshire. So much more that you can do with it. All right, let's see over here. Watching from Michigan. I have only tried one time to do it without a mat. It didn't go well. I'm more of a mat person too. Even when I do like super, super long ones and I set it to no mat, there's a certain way that you have to set it up, but I still use a mat. I remember doing a piece that was like 10 feet long because I used to do vinyl for companies. So I would put like their business name on their like vans and stuff like that. I did decals for windows for businesses and things of that nature. And I needed longer prints. I used to tape together several 12 by 24 inch mats to keep it all stable, because sometimes cutting with no mat, it will go crazy. I learned quickly that I could not do it on my desk because of gravity. So I used to have to, y'all should see me. I had my machines lined up. I have 6 cameos. Well, now I have 7. One stays in the box. It's just a backup. But I had at one point when I was really doing it, 4 cameos. Well, it was 3 original cameos and a cameo 3. I would have those suckers going, cutting out all types of adhesive items. That was my thing. I got into vinyl cutting more so for like window decals. That was my main thing. I didn't get into shirt making until years after I got my my machine. I say years, maybe like a year or so after I got my machine, because I was so used to like screen printing and using like the printable transfers. So cutting vinyl, it took me a minute like for HTV to really get into that. But adhesive vinyl, baby, I loved a good decal. I made so much money off of making decals, especially for fundraisers, for cheer teams and football teams. Good money in learning to cut vinyl, weed it, and making decals. So that's where I started at. Let's see. Have a cameo 4. I got the business edition, brand new to Silhouette. I use Silhouette Studio Edition. Hi, Renata. I am incredible. Thank you for watching from Arkansas. That's my city girl, St. Louis. All right, so let's get into this. Hey, just got a cameo 4. I'm ready to learn. Awesome. If you're new to Silhouette Studio, you need to take her Silhouette 30-day challenge course. Thank you so much. And watching from Michigan. So we're going to discuss a couple of things in this training, okay? 1, tracing and what it is, and the different types of tracing and when to use which one, all right? So here, you'll see, well, first let's get to tracing. We're not going to go over, I know sometimes when I do these videos, I go straight into the thing. And then there's some people like, well, I don't even know how to bring it onto the screen. We have so many other videos that break that down. We have a full course where we break this down and how to open up things in Silhouette Studio, how to merge them in, because there's a lot more before you get to this point. But if you are somebody that's gotten to the point where you're able to open up images on here, we're going to go through how you would trace it. So the main focus of this is tracing, not necessarily how to get it onto the screen. All right. These are all images that I got from online. So I got to give you my disclaimer, because as we can see, these are Disney images. And that's a question we get a lot of times too. How is it that some people can sell Disney images on Etsy and not get caught? Some people do get caught. They get their Etsy shop shut down. This live broadcast and this teaching is for educational purposes only. I am using these images because they are popular, they're well known. It is a little bit of clickbait. People know these images. They're well known. So if they see these a part of my thumbnail, ooh, I wanted to make something Mickey for my kids, or someone asked me about Mickey, they're more inclined to click on it because it's an image that they know. So I'm using this for educational purposes only. Do understand that these characters are the intellectual property of Disney, Walt Disney. I do not own the rights to them. By me teaching you how to do this does not mean that I am giving you permission to use these in a way where you are making a profit from it. Although technically you're not even supposed to use it for personal use, but if you're not on the internet saying, hey, I have this for sale, they don't know what you do in your own home. I don't know if they would ever come after me for showing this. I don't know, but I don't put on here that it's Mickey, that I'm representing Walt Disney. I'm just showing you how to trace some things, okay? These skills can be used for images that you have purchased, that you have licensed to use. So I've done this before with like a cupcake. So let's say I got a cupcake image from Creative Fabrica or Fabrica. It was a PNG or a JPEG, but I want to fill it in with color. I want to change the color. I want to take it from a solid color to a glitter, like a glitter fill. You would still need the skills of tracing in order to be able to do that. I'm just using these particular images to showcase how tracing works, okay? All right, baby, got to give the full disclosure. Because I can't have y'all come back from some, the professor said we can. When y'all, them folks come in, they try to get y'all a cease and desist. You can't come back to me. We are not held responsible for what will happen with what you do with this information, okay? Got to protect myself. All right. So once we have this open, I call it a butterfly. Now, in the old program, I will say it did look like a piece of toast with like jam or jelly or something on it, but it is a butterfly. Depending on which version you have, it's going to show, it may not be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. Let me see. I'm going to go to, I don't think I've really paid any attention. So on business edition, it's 6 down. It might still be 6 down on the free. Yeah, it is. So no matter what, free edition, designer edition, business edition, it is 6 down from the top. Okay. See, somebody says, yes, I call it a piece of toast. See, it looks like a butterfly to me on this one, but it is the 6th icon down. That is how you get to the trace tool. If you hover your mouse, you're going to see a little yellow tab that pops out that will also tell you what each icon is. So you can hover over it. In my classes, I provide a breakdown, and it's a printout that they can use, and it has every single tool labeled. But if you want to kind of create your own, you can take a screenshot, print it out, and as you hover over it, you can write it in and make your own. But we do provide that printout for those who are in our classes, okay? So we're going to go here to tracing. And I'm in the, you know what? I think I'm going to stay here. I normally leave it on business edition. Right now, I am in the free version. I've changed mine to basic. I've lost a lot of my icons. So I want you guys to see how easy this, like that you can do this. I'm going to say it's easy because y'all, I'm not going to be able to use my properties dropper and I don't know what I'm going to do. It's so hard. Like I know I'm going to hit I on my keyboard a couple of times, just out of habit, but I cannot use my properties dropper for this. So I'm going to stay in the free mode to show you that you can do this from the free version of Select Studio. Hey, just got me a Cameo 4. I'm ready to learn. I think I read that one. Yeah, I did. All right. So select trace area. You have to tell the system what it is that you want to trace. So when you click on that, you put a box around it. Everything inside of this box is what we'll trace. So right now I have a part of her tail outside of the box. So if I were to trace and detach, it'll split it up. If I do a regular trace, it's going to create a break. Everything has to be inside of here. You don't have to redo it and trace out or make the box. It works just like a rounded rectangle, a shape, a square, whatever. You have little nodes around it. So if we go right here and pull it out, we can include that part. You don't have to start over if you make a mistake and don't get everything, okay? So what you are seeing on the screen now is it popped up yellow. Celestial is colorblind. It does not really know colors. This is all black and white, so it's going to pick up those black tones at that 45% threshold. Your threshold is kind of how you determine what colors pick up and what colors don't pick up. Oh, I just know I'm not going to do this one. I just noticed something about this particular file. Well, let me see if I go, and this also wasn't the greatest because there's a lot of like bumpy areas, but there's some breaks. Let me see if I can get this to close up. I may not use this one. I think I'm going to use the Mickey one because this takes a little bit more explaining and breakdown for this particular image because of like the color is not really dark in some of these areas and it's causing some breaks in, oh, y'all can't see, it's causing some breaks in the trace. So let me, and I have way too many things open. Okay, so I got it to close off, so that's not bad. So this is where you adjust your threshold. So at that 45%, if you don't zoom in, my students know, I don't like when they don't zoom in. You need to zoom in to see some stuff. Most people would go on, and because it's black, they assume because it's all black, it's going to trace perfectly at 45%. That's not always the case. So as you see, I had to go up. I'm now at 62%. And that was to close in those areas at the top. Because if I did it, I would not be able to separate the actual hat part from the fur part and make them two different colors. You understand? So I had to increase my threshold in order to do that. Once you see it, like what you see in yellow should look like that original picture that was all black and white. You want that yellow everywhere there was black on the original so that you can release compound path and be able to separate the sections. So we're going to go ahead and hit trace. The original is untouched. It doesn't do anything to it. I can click on that trace and move it off to the side. When you trace, you do not alter the original. There is one that's called trace outer edge. It's just going to give me a silhouette of what is here. So once it picks up, and although we're going to see that same yellow, outline, if we go trace outer edge, we only get the very, very outside part. So inside of her shoes is not going to pick up. Whatever is to the outside. And there were a few breaks, I'm guessing. Yeah, there was a break somewhere. So it picked it up. So I needed to close it. But that just makes this solid when I fill it in with color, except for here, because there was a break somewhere. If we do trace and detach, that is how I think someone earlier said, well, they were trying to learn how to remove the background, how to, basically remove the background, whether it's white or clear. You cannot do this with complex. So if it's like a photograph of someone and there's a bunch of stuff behind them, you cannot use trace to remove that background. You have to use an outside background remover that removes pixels. So we're going to go and trace and detach. So it will do, shoot, I should have went up a little bit. Dang it. I'm going to undo because that one I do have to adjust it because I'm going to end up having breaks in this. But what trace and detach does, it does the same exact thing that the trace outer edge does, except it includes an additional step of cropping it away and pulling it away from the background. So if I click on this white and move it, we see how we lost the white inside of here. It's because it was not completely cut off. Well, it was not completely closed in. So I need to go back. I need to increase my threshold. So that area is closed off. And I'm going to go trace and detach. Thank you guys so much for the follow. Thank you for sharing the live. And you guys are more than welcome to ask questions as I'm going through this. We welcome questions. We welcome engagement. Engagement helps my platform. The more that you guys engage in the chat, the more the algorithm works in my favor. And Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and everyone else, they will help more people see my videos, which can help me. Okay. I'm not asking for cash apps. If you would like to send a cash app to say thank you, I'm more than happy to put it on the screen. I'm not necessarily asking for stars, but we do have the ability for you guys on Facebook to send stars. You have the ability to send super chats on YouTube, gifts over on TikTok. Only thing I ask for is engagement. Talk to me in real time. If it's something that you did not know, if it was like an aha moment for you, if you ran into an issue, I'm just asking for engagement in real time, because that is what truly helps my platform. I'm on here helping you guys. Help me out by engaging with me in the chat, or if you are watching the playback of this, engage with me in the comment section. Okay. Thank you, love. Love this, all the different little tips. Okay. So now that I increased my threshold, and if I click on this, you see the difference where this is filled in. Trace and detach serves a couple purposes, right? If this was actually like a full color image and I now want to put this on a background or something like that, I want to put it on an invitation, I've now removed that white background. When it's a PNG, it's transparent, but if I want to now size it to a specific size, inside of here, just looking at this image, it's saying that it was 9.46 by 13.404. But once we trace and detach, the Minnie Mouse is actually only 8.578 by 9.608. This is really, really big when you're using this for printing, because you're like, okay, well, I sized it to 10 inches. No, you sized this box that had all this negative space to 10 inches. Once it prints out, because white doesn't print on any printer unless you have a white toner or, like with DTF, and they have like white ink in it, but white doesn't print. All inks are translucent. None of them have an opaque backing. They have to have white on it for that. So if you were to print this out, nothing would be on your page where this area is, but your image would not be the right size. Minnie at 10 inches wide is way bigger than this space. So that is one of the other purposes of trace and detach, is so that you can know the exact size of your image. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but this is a really big part of DPI as well. When people say, oh, 300 DPI, this can be at 300 DPI and be a different like number or, resolution than this one, because DPI really is based off of the full image, like the full space. That is what your DPI is based off of. That's a story for another day, because man, the game is twisted on, how some of these DTF companies teach all about DPI, which is why we're discussing DPI. Actually, I think that's tomorrow's lesson. Yeah. No. Tomorrow is which design platform best fits your needs. On the 14th, we are discussing the truths of DTF, really breaking down this whole 300 DPI, how to save it, how to design it, how to create your gang sheets, how to save it, what it's best used for. We're breaking all that down on the 14th inside of our paid community, our subscription community, the Creative Lounge. I'll give you guys more information about that if you're interested. If you are interested in information about the Creative Lounge, go ahead and put Creative Lounge in the chat so I'll know if it's something that I need to break down for you guys. If y'all not interested in it, there's no sense in me talking about it. So let me know in the chat by writing Creative Lounge if you would like more information about the Creative Lounge at the end of this demonstration. All right. So How will you know that it filled in properly to pick up? You have to zoom in. You'll see gaps. So if there is a gap in the yellow, then there's going to be breaks. So you can't be at this distance really and kind of know. I'm used to it. So I saw the gaps. At this distance, I can see the gaps. But if you're a newbie, my recommendation is once you have it set, zoom in and pan around it. So another pro tip, I love keyboard shortcuts. One of my favorite and most used keyboard shortcut is the space bar. The space bar allows you to pan around the screen without like changing your zoom. So if I hold down the space bar, you see how my arrow goes from, my arrow will go from an arrow to a hand or a finger to a hand. That allows me to move this around. So if I was zoomed in on this to see where things were and I pan it around, like I can kind of go and check the entire image. This is not a high resolution image. And that's another thing too. I knew that there was a chance that I needed to take it up because if I zoom in on this, you see all of that pixelation. It's not a super sharp image. So normally with something like this, 45% doesn't work because once we get to these parts that kind of like feather out, they're not black, they're more so grayish. So we have to increase the threshold to pick up those gray areas. You're welcome. I forgot to use the space bar for panning. All right, so let's see over here. Someone else says, thanks, I always forget to do that. All right, I think I answered all those questions. All right, cool beans. So I'm going to put this off to the side. I'm going to show that it's pretty much the same thing. And when it comes to those colors, so you see right here, I strategically picked these images. You see right here where this is gray, right? They're not going to pick up. And if I try to pick them up with the resolution of this, I'm going to ruin, not say ruin, but it's going to be more pixelated if I try and pick those up. Something like that, I would manually fill that in. Like this one, I would have to use my edit points to create that shape. Some of these other ones, I could use like an oval, add a black line, a thick black line so that it can pick up. But I just want to, I want to show you how it's going to be because it's not going to pick that area up. So we're going to go select trace area. We're going to place our box around it. And see how it does not pick up that area because it's too light. I don't get the tip of his tail because it's too light. I'm going to just go up a little bit on this. And I'm going to do a trace. And then I'm going to take it up even more and then do another trace. Thank you guys so much for 10,000 likes. Hopefully by the time we get to the end of this, we'll hit 20,000 likes. If you guys just continue to double tap the screen. All right, so we're going to hit trace on that. I never knew how important it is to zoom in when tracing until I was watching my playback videos from your Essentials of Silhouette Studio 30-Day Challenge. Those videos helped me so much. Thank you so much for that, Stanley. I mean, I'm telling y'all, I try and drill that in y'all. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. All right, so I'm going to move this trace out of the way, and I'm going to do another trace. And we're going to take this threshold up. I'm trying to take it up to try and get that gray area on this one. It's gray. Like there were grays on Minnie Mouse's head, but it's still a little bit darker. Over here, these are really, really light. I'm already at 78% and it's not really picking up in those areas. See, before I went to 68 and I was able to pick those up. I'm at 78 and I'm not really picking them up. So I'm going to go up some more to try and pick up those areas. All right, so I'm now at 90. It took me up to 90% to grab those areas. And then I'm going to go trace. All right. So with going up that high, do you see where my trace line ended up at? It also picked up those gray pixels surrounding it. So I wasn't right on the really darker areas. So some things are going to, like the shape is going to essentially change. If you look right here, that section, which should be a whole lot bigger, is now smaller. I compromise my trace results to get those areas. It's not always a good thing to do that because you're now going, you can change the shape of something, you can decrease the size or increase the size. So now we do this and I fill it in with color. The outside lines are going to look bigger. So when you go and you get into classes and we teach you how to fill in those spaces, how to use your edit points, how to make shapes and, rotate them and get them to fit, you can make those areas match the darker part. And that way you get a better trace. There is a science to tracing. So I'll take these and I'll fill them both in with black. And so you can see right there the difference where this is a lot thicker than it is here. Now, I'm not saying it's like a bad thing for it to be a thicker outline. Some people prefer that. But for some areas, you lose detail. So like in here, we see more of the top of the ornament. But over here, we don't. And our lines and things aren't as smooth. So this should be more rounded and it's like a sharp point right here. There's a lot of jagged lines in here. We have a lot of little specks that pick up. You have some people, they gonna sell this to y'all as an SVG on Etsy with all these bumps, with all these smaller areas, and they don't bother to fix it. That's why it's important to learn these skills and how to do them yourselves, because no one owns the rights to this. They put them on Etsy and they'll find these same images that you can find online. They're just going to trace it. They have business edition. They're going to save it as an SVG, or they're going to use Illustrator or Corel Draw or Affinity Designer. They're going to trace it. They're going to save it as an SVG. They're not doing anything special. I'm not trying to say some people will buy it still, and they will have an audience of people who are like, I don't have time for that. I don't want to learn how to do that. Hey, I'm just going to buy the file. And that's fine. My issue sometimes is when they sell the files where they didn't bother to at least go in and smooth the lines out and correct them. But when you have the skills to do this yourself, you can save yourself some coins. So if you're like, I have the time, I have the patience, I want to learn this, I don't want to have to pay $2, $3 for every single SVG file because it's not something they are creating themselves. They are just taking images that are already online and they are tracing them. Everyone, no matter who they are, whether you're a professional or a newbie, you have to do these steps no matter what. They're not doing anything special to have these SVGs. They're not going in and creating them and drawing them out themselves. They are tracing in either Silhouette Studio, Adobe Illustrator, Corel Draw, Inkscape, Affinity Designer. You can do it yourself as well, okay? And save yourself some money on this front. So if I zoom in on this one, we see how our lines are a lot smoother. We see where it's rounded right here and it's not a sharp line. Questions, comments, feedback, your thoughts on like the tracing process. Does this help you? I'm glad I caught you. I struggle with this so much. So glad you caught us as well, Jane. Wow, I didn't know that those Etsy images. Oh, yes, they've just been traced, honey. They go on here and they find the same images. If you take the time, if you maybe go through like page 3, you go and you do an image search. Some people stop at like page 1. But some of the good stuff is like on page 3, page 4. If you click on the preview, you look at the bottom and you're going through different like images, you can find some really great images out there that's not like on the main page. They're the ones that's just seeking those out, and they will just trace it. Some people will clean it up some so that it's a better looking image. But I have had several of my students or several people who just follow me and they're frustrated. Hey, Shakia, hey, professor, I got this image off of Etsy. Something's wrong with it. Can you take a look at it? And I open it up and I'm like, oh, okay, baby, let's go find this one and we're going to do a better trace of this. And I would show it to them. It's like, are you serious? Yeah, that's all it was. So you can avoid paying, like ending up with a bad file if you learn to trace. Definitely a big difference with the threshold being up too high. Yes, love the reinforcement. This helps a lot. I'm getting better and better at tracing after taking your classes. The difference in those two images, I would have never known to look for that. Glad to share. I'm still working to master silhouette. I hope to also it also helps her channel when I share. I wish I had Dunzel's information to share with him. Oh, okay. So y'all talk about sharing. Thank you so much for sharing the video out. All right. So we did that one, right? So we don't really need, and then that's the other thing too. The newer versions of Silhouette Studio put so many edit points. You know how sometimes you go to trace something and Silhouette Studio might shut down on you, depending on how much resources your system has or doesn't have, like how large of like RAM you have, or what's the thing I'm looking for? C drive, like hard drive space you have. When you do these traces, like the regular image would be fine. If you did like a trace and detach, it would be fine, right? But when you do a regular trace, when you click on it, it has all of these edit points. And this will bog down your system because that's a lot of data. This one, look at how much more edit points. You can barely even see the ornaments over here. And if I click on this one, I mean, it's kind of sort of, but like you can barely see it. This one, it takes up a lot of space, but you can at least see through it. So that's a big, big thing too with your thresholds and when you trace it. This is because of how Silhouette America has changed the program. Because when you go to trace, there's this thing at the top that says low or high. We explained that one in the class because some people can't take it all the way up and it will take forever for it to trace. But one of the things that you can do is use simplify. I'm going to make a duplicate. I'm going to double click on so you can see the edit points. Once you double click on the edit points, you're going to see this window. Double click on the image, you're going to get edit points and you're going to see this window. If you hit simplify, it can minimize the number of edit points that are there. Sometimes it will smooth out some really bumpy areas, but it can also change the shape of some areas. So his eyes definitely change. So I'm going to undo and you can see, I'm going to click off. So you can see the eyes, look at like the details and how thick the parts in his hands are. So if we click here and we simplify, you see how it changed the shape? Be mindful of that. Simply because somebody asked me before, do you do that every single time? Not always, because it can alter the image. Sometimes I will use simplify, but after I have released compound path. So simplified and not simplified. Do you see the difference? Especially look at his eyes, hands, some of the ornaments. It has changed. That's why you have to learn how to adjust your edit points. Because there is an area on here that if I was doing this for a project, I would come in here and kind of fix his eye, the outside of his eye a little bit, because I don't really like the way that it looks. You're very welcome. You helped make tracing clearer, still learning. This is very detailed. I've never traced before. But you use Silhouette Studio? How long have you been using Silhouette Studio? Hey, just say, should Silhouette come out with the CNC machine? No, they should not. No, that would not be peachy. I am a firm believer that certain companies need to stick to their strengths. There's still a lot of issues with their program in general and even their machines. And they're still working out some stuff on if they mastered these machines and there weren't all of these unnecessary kinks, I mean, I could see them investing into technology for those things, but that's not their strong suit. And I feel like they're still working on their machines. So for me, I wouldn't like to see them come out. I wasn't ecstatic to see them come out with a 24-inch machine because I felt like they hadn't really mastered the 12-inch, the 15-inch, and even the program. So adding on that 24, I just felt like they were not ready for it. So that's just my personal yet professional observation of it all. What is the best update to stay with? Do I need to do? No, please do not do every update. Most of the updates are to like roll out patches for things. Like, let's say they didn't update and something was jacked up. They will do an update to correct that because people are using it and they're actually communicating with them. Hey, this is what I experienced. So there's some people on the beta team that will see it. And then there's some where they're just regular users. They will email because they're frustrated. They'll email Silhouette America and they will say, this is what I'm experiencing. And they will do updates. It's not a new feature. If you were somebody that never experienced like the thing that they fixed, you don't need to update. There's nothing that has changed. Those who are getting the Cameo 5, you cannot use the old version of Silhouette Studio. Some of the options are not available on those old versions. So like the Cameo 5, the Portrait 4, they have an electrostatic matte. That matte option is not in the earlier versions. You have to have a new updated version to be able to utilize those features of those particular printers. The Cameo 5, just use it as a regular matte, it doesn't show up in 4.3, 4.4. You have to be at a 4.5. So it's not necessary to do every single update. The update that you should be on is going to be dependent on your system. How efficient is your computer or your desktop or your laptop? There's a lot of people that cannot go to the 4.4, 4.5 version because they don't have enough hard drive space. They don't have the right graphics card. They don't have enough RAM on their system to support those programs, and they will constantly shut down. They would have to get a new computer, a new desktop to support the updated version. I find that the most stable version, no matter what, would be 4.3.370. Well, you can write that in the chat. 4.3.370, 32-bit. That's kind of like the most stable, no matter what kind of system you have. No, as long as it's not like super old. You can kind of get away with utilizing that one. There are still some glitches in that version. But it is going to be the most stable where you can at least, get things done. Okay. I understand the purpose of the line colors, but why doesn't it show up on the printouts? Line color is usually just to identify certain things. You don't want them to show up. You can cut by line color. You don't need it to print. Line color serves several purposes. So let's say I was doing a, okay, so let's say I was doing a 3D box. I don't want to separate my image. I want it all to cut as one, because you can cut at different, blade depths, different speeds, different force. So if I was going to do a 3D box, I want the outside to cut all the way through, but my score lines, because Silhouette, well, the Cameo machines don't have a scoring like blade or scoring tool. You're basically putting perforated lines in it. Well, when I do that, I don't want my lines to cut deep. I want them to be very shallow where you can barely see them. So I'm going to set the outside. I'll set my outside to a red. I'll set my perforated lines to a purple. So when I go to cut, I will set the setting to where it's going to cut my red line all the way through. So it removes from the paper. But I'm going to change my setting for the perforated lines to where I can have quick, shallow cuts. So line color serves a lot. You can cut by line color. You can select things by line color, but they're always not meant to print. And that's a good thing. If you save it as a JPEG or a PNG or PDF, they will show up on that. But as far as printing, they will not. You have to add weight to it because it's a 0. If you want it to show up, you have to add weight to it. Okay. Yes. 4.3.370 32-bit is the most stable. All right, let's see. 4.3.370 32-bit. Thank you. All right. We're going to do the last trace, which actually I already did her. No, I did her already. I'm going to do this one right here. And I will say I have a pretty powerful one. This may shut down on me, but because I'm really, really pushing the limits on all of these traces that I'm doing on this one window. Silhouette Studio doesn't support a whole lot of a lot of stuff. The more data on there and that you have open, it can cause it to shut down on you. All right, so we're going to go again. Select trace area. Place our box. Okay, there it is. Select trace area. Place our box. I don't really want that outside line. So we're going to pull this in. Oh, you know what? This is actually a good lesson. See, and I didn't even realize this. So let's say you do have an image like this. A lot of newbies are used to doing this. Like this is like kind of second nature. When you need to trace and detach something or you want to trace it, you don't focus on putting the box around the element that you need to trace. A lot of you guys, a lot of newbies will automatically do this. They're going to put around the whole thing, right? Well, when you put it around the whole thing, for this particular image, there is, this one might not do it because it's not closed off. But I'm going to take this up. See, this one isn't quite closed off, but there's times where it's like full on and it's closed off. And if you were to do trace and detach, it actually would trace and detach from the outside only, and this middle part would remain whole. This actually has a break, so it will trace and detach. So see, it would do it here, but there are times where I'm going to undo this and I'm going to put a line here. I just want to show you something. In this image, it doesn't do it, but I'm going to close this off. So if you happen to run into a file and it is closed off, like this, and we go and do a trace and detach, you're going to see the middle section light up with yellow. See, somebody says, yes, I do that. I know it. It's some more of them. They're not going to admit it. They don't want to admit it, but it's definitely some more of them. So if we were to go, and also I see a lot of tutorials on YouTube, they tell you just take your threshold all the way up. So you go and you adjust that threshold up, and we go trace and detach. It is going to search. Remember, it searches the outside. So wherever the furthest color is what it's going to detach. And this is what's going to happen. And then here you are thinking you did something wrong. You're going to keep doing that and keep doing that. And then you're going to be frustrated. And then you're going to say, nope, I tried to use Select Studio, but I gave up because it was too complicated. I couldn't figure out how to remove the background, because a lot of they're tutorials. They're not classes. They're not master classes. They're not going through breaking it down like this for you. They're going to come on. You're probably not going to pay attention when they're putting the box just around their subject, and you think, okay, well, I'm going to trace it, and you didn't really pay attention to those little details, and you're going to do the whole thing, and you're going to say Select Studio is too hard to learn because you couldn't get this to trace like they did on that video. But all it was missing was that one little piece of information to put your box around just the image. You don't have to do the whole thing. Someone says, I used to do that until they got into some classes, you know? Yes. All right. So if you do make this mistake, it's okay. Just push it off to the side. Another little pro tip for you is we don't need this text. We don't often use, I don't often use the eraser tool, but this will add to the data of the trace. This will add to the data once it's traced, because those little pieces would be like on the screen. Then you have to go in there and delete them, and make sure that you delete them all so that it's no ghost or phantom pieces on your screen. Because if you happen to do a subtract, those who are in my Essential Select Studio, we know that we have on that subtract worksheet where I hid that little phantom piece and it made everything go away. Well, the more things that you have to delete, the more likely you to have mistakes on the back end when you're, putting everything together. So I like to use my eraser tool to remove things like this because I don't need that part. So it's just going to make it easier to trace it and not have to worry about going back in and deleting that area. I've gotten so frustrated because of that happening. I never knew about the cutting per line color. I know I do have a lot of windows open. Come on, guys, let's double tap and show some love. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, because we should definitely be way more than 1,000. We've only gained 1,000 extra likes in the time that we've been on. All right, so we're gonna go back to select trace area, and I'm gonna put this box just around the image. Oops. I'm gonna go over a little bit more. Come on now. It might shut down. I told y'all I'm pushing the limit. I am really pushing the limit here. So it's moving a little slower because I got a bunch of windows open with a lot of data on it. And even in this window, every single time I'm like tracing this or like tracing detach, I still have all that data. So it's going to pick up. I'm forced a habit for me to take my scale down. Oh yeah, I'm playing with fire right now. I'm playing with fire right now. Because every time it moves slow, I know that it's worn out. It is worn the hell out. All right, let me shut down some of this stuff. And it keeps doing that. So let me shut down some of these windows because I have lessons from other classes. This is the lesson from yesterday. So we're going to shut that down. We're going to shut that down. We don't need that. I was testing out papers with that one. This was to help somebody who asked a question in Canva. I do want to save this because that was a trace for Mighty Mouse. Don't need this one. This was from class. Nope, don't need that one. That was from a live training. I do kind of want to keep. I'm not ready to erase you yet. This was a training about color codes. This was from class. I do need that one. I don't need this one. Don't need that one. Let's save this. Files. Save as. Save to hard drive. This was from EOS session 10 design examples. All right. Now we shouldn't move so slow. All right. So we're going to go ahead and this one picks up pretty good. And we're just going to go and trace. I can tell I don't have any open areas, but again, you can always zoom in to see if you have any open areas. But I already knew I didn't for this one because I know this one was a pretty good resolution image. And so we're going to go trace. Yes, please search and like and follow 365 Creative Academy. I would like to be able to go live from that platform over on TikTok. All right. So there's all of our traces. Okay. Now I cannot do all of them. So I'll let you guys decide which one I'm going to fill in with color because I can't do all of them. We've been on here a long time. Okay. So are we going to do Minnie and Daisy? Are we going to do the winter Minnie with the gift? Or are we going to do the Christmas Mickey? Which one are we going to fill with color? Oh, I do need, I don't know, well, I'll fill it in with any skin tone, but let me look for one that's filled in with Minnie and Daisy and ice cream. So just in case. Which one should we fill with color? Need to see your comments. Which one should we fill in with color? Minnie and Daisy, Christmas Mickey, Minnie and Daisy, Christmas. Which one? There's two Christmas ones. Christmas, Minnie and Daisy, Minnie and Daisy, Minnie and Daisy. I see more for Minnie and Daisy. Let's see over here. Minnie and Daisy, the Christmas Minnie, Minnie with the present. Okay, so over here, Minnie with the present is outvoted 2-1 for Minnie and Daisy. Oh, I see another one for present. Wait, is that the same? Oh, is that another one for present? No, you voted already. So that's 2-1. Minnie with the present versus Minnie and Daisy. Over here, a lot of Minnie and Daisy, and a few Christmas, but you're not saying which Christmas one. But I think Minnie and Daisy together wins out. So let me find an image. There's actually quite a few of them. I just want these to sample the colors from. All right, so there are 3 of these. Totally different color schemes for these. Should we go with the traditional red, pink, and purple? Here, Minnie has on purple, a shade of purple, and then the bow. This is the exact image, but it's also in a different color. And we would not be able to trace this. So let's say if you saw this, right? This would be a horrible image to use. Oh, see, y'all can't really see how bad it is. Let me zoom in some more. There we go. This is a horrible image to use. Okay? Horrible image to use. But if you found the black and white version, that's what this one is, right? So this one would have been a better one to trace. And then you could make it the exact same colors that are here, but it's going to give you a better resolution or better result when it comes to tracing. The tracing on this bad boy would be horrid because of all of the pixelation, and it would pick up on all of that. There is no improving the quality of this before you trace it. So this is why learning to trace is so important. If you came across this image, you liked it, but now you know how to identify that it's not a great image to use, you now look for one that's a black and white, that's a coloring book one, and you can make it look like this after you trace it. Okay? So some people say they like the pink and purple. They like this version. They like this version better. Okay, pink and purple, heart sunglasses. Okay, I think everyone agrees. So you may have seen it this way, right? But you may want these colors. This is what I try to encourage. Like, it's not necessarily copying someone. Well, stuff like this, nobody can complain about somebody copying when you're talking about something that belongs to Disney. But this is where it's like you're not limited to how you see it. So you may be doing a party for someone and they saw this image, they're both holding ice cream, but this is not the color scheme of their party. Their color scheme might be this one. So tracing, knowing how to fill with color allows you to now customize this. This is where the big bucks kind of come in at, because you can customize it to your client's needs. Make sense? All right, so I'm going to actually put these on a different window because I'm a little petrified of it shutting down. All right, so we're going to come over here. My students know we don't do anything before we duplicate. So now we fill it in with color. The initial color does not matter. Doesn't matter, because we're going to break it apart. All right, y'all. I need a little algorithm booster here, okay? So I need you guys to comment if this is helpful for you. If you would like to learn more about Silhouette Studio and how to use it to its fullest, and you are not a part of EOS already, which is Essential Silhouette Studio, go ahead and type EOS in the chat, and I will make sure that we get you information about Essential Silhouette Studio. If you are in Essential Silhouette Studio, but you are interested in Creative Lounge, go ahead and write Creative Lounge in the chat if you want information about that. Let me know in the chat if this is helpful for you. How is it helpful for you? If you have any questions. I know I'm a very detailed instructor, so I know questions don't always come because I probably answered a question that you had or gave you like an aha moment, because I'm a very, very detailed instructor. But if there is something like you've worked on a project, you had a question, go ahead, flood that chat, flood the comments, even if you're watching the playback of this, with your questions, okay? We love engagement. Engagement helps us out a lot, guys. It helps us out a lot. She says, what if you're already in both? Thank you. Just double tap the screen, share it out with someone. There we go. Hashtag TPTM. The TPTM stands for the professor taught me. So if you don't need any of those, go ahead and put hashtag TPTM in the chat. That stands for the professor taught me. Okay, so once we fill this in, we do what's called release compound path. There's a lot. Compound path is a loaded subject. We're only going to talk about it in the context of tracing. But compound path, it is a loaded topic, okay? It's amongst those top 5 things that people say, I don't understand. I'm so confused about compound paths. We have a whole 2 days pretty much dedicated to understanding compound paths in our training, okay? Because it's a loaded question. I struggle with changing the colors. So changing the colors it depends on what you're trying to do. This is one where it shouldn't be, too bad with changing colors, because once you release and you're able to select them. Now, if your issue is, I don't know if I'm selecting the right area, that's different. But to change the colors, once we release it, you click on the area that you want and you change the color. Now, if it is a JPEG or a PNG and you want to change the colors, you can't control how they change, but there is this thing called image effects. And when you go to colorize, you can change the hue and saturation of something. So that's a different way of kind of like changing colors on an image, but you can't control where it changed, like what changes to what color and, all those things. But that's totally different in like changing colors for a PNG versus a vector file or an SVG. But changing colors for an SVG, technically, for the sake of crafters, I've just created an SVG. I have just created, and I'm doing air quotes, an SVG. So to change the colors of an SVG, first thing, make sure you have a line color on, make sure, and then you fill it in with color. Once you fill it in with color, we right click and release compound path. Once you release compound path, this is what's supposed to happen. This normally freaks people out because they're like, what did I do wrong? And it's like, it's all one color. When I told you to make sure your line color was on, it was for a reason, because when your line color is not on and this happens, crafters really lose their mind when this happens, because they think that it's all one big blob and they don't realize that there are elements that are still there. So it's really important to have a line color that is different than the fill color turned on. So this line color doesn't need to be printed. It's there for identification and for separation purposes. Haha, see? Yep, this happens and I say forget it. Well, you should never say forget it after today. Hopefully you wrote down that note. That's what's supposed to happen. That is what releasing compound path is supposed to do. It gives you the ability to now select each shape. This is not like using Illustrator and then you have a live paint. So with that one, you don't have to necessarily break it apart. You can select the area and then click it and it will fill in that area. Same thing with like Procreate, things like that. In Photoshop, you can use the paint drop, you can use the brush, you can use the paint bucket. That's different with filling colors in pixel-based programs or live paint, in Illustrator. For Silhouette Studio, this is what you have to do in order to fill those areas in. So we should not be afraid of this from this day forth. If you are at this, if you've reached hour and 15 minutes, hour and 14 minutes in, when this happens to you the next time, you should not panic, okay? Because this is what it's supposed to do. If it's a blob, select it all, add a line color, and then you will see the separations of the sections. Sometimes I forget to make sure my line color is on. I love using that when I want to change the colors, certain images that way. I remember that happening a lot in the beginning. All right. So now that we have that, we click off and you can now start to fill it in with color. I normally start with the background and I'm going to click on that and make it black. This middle section right here should be open. That's a separation between Minnie and Daisy. So we click on the outside line, hold down Shift, and click in that section. We come over here to our modify panel and we hit subtract. That's going to make that opening so that there is an actual separation between Minnie and Daisy. Now that is an area where it might take a little getting used to know which areas to subtract. So looking at this one, I did not, let me tell you what I'm going to have an issue at, right? And how I trace this, which I can technically make it just her dress. But when we're looking at this original image, her dress ends here, and this section should be open. It's a gap between her arm. So if I put this on a background, I'm supposed to see the background here. But on mine, no separation was created. Oops. Easy fix though. I'm going to take a rectangle and I'm going to put it about like right here. Probably like right there. Yeah. And I'm going to hold down Shift, select these two, and I'm going to subtract. So now this piece and this piece, I'm going to hit subtract again. That's an opening. This will be the end of her dress. Okay. That's a little bit more advanced, but for those who are ready for that, that's kind of one of the ways that you would fix that. All right. Now we just go in and fill it in with color. I'm going to select her face, open up my fill panel. I'm going to use the color from here. So I select her face. I'm going to go to the color dropper, select her face color. And then there's other areas. So inside of her eyebrow, so I'm going to hold down Shift, click on her eyebrow, inside her, not eyebrow, inside her lashes, her face, inside her lashes, and I can either just fill it in with the color, or if I make it a compound path, it all becomes one and it fills in with the color. Okay. And then we're going to just, so her eyes, I'm going to fill that in with white. Most of the stuff I'm just going to group together. Her tongue on this one is pink. So we're going to do that. For her nose and her mouth, unless I am doing a bunch of paper layering, and I'm going to put the black outline, I'm going to layer all of these on top, and I want dimension, and I want it to like be an extra like textured layer, I leave them and I go and I put the black, I put the face, I put the black again for the nose, I put the mouth, the black mouth, and I put the tongue on top of that. But most people aren't doing that. You're not going to waste paper, you're not going to waste vinyl. You're going to have the background, the black from the background, fill in those areas. So in order to do that, we have to subtract these two areas from the face. So I select the nose, hold down Shift, select the mouth, keep Shift held down, select the face. I'm going to go back over to modify, which it's attached over here. And I'm going to, I'm going to go back to modify and I'm going to choose subtract. Bam. I now see black. That is the background. I've now cut a hole in the face and I'm just going to either group or make everything a compound path again. What program am I using? I am using Silhouette Studio. Silhouette Studio is a free program that anybody can download. to their computer. It is not mobile based. You do have to download it onto a desktop or a laptop that is Windows based or Mac. It has a Mac iOS system. You cannot use it on like a Chromebook or any of those. They have rolled out a web base. It's not that great. One of these days, I'm going to do a tutorial for the web base, but it's really not that great. The standard program, amazing. You do not have to have a Silhouette machine in order to use it. You can use it for free. Just create an account on Silhouette America, download the program. If you are a Cricut user, you can still use this to design and modify, save it as an SVG, and then open it up in Cricut Design Space to be able to cut with your Cricut, okay? Yes, are you still in the free version? I am still in the free version. I did not bother to go to Designer Plus, or Business. Everything that you're seeing me do is being done in the free version of Silhouette Studio. All right, so let's fill it in. I see your question, Sandra. Let me fill this in with some more color, and I'm going to come to your question, okay? All right, so her gloves are all white, so I'm going to select those and fill those in with white. These right here, which is the little highlights that should be black, I'm going to hold down Shift and select those as well. And I'm just going to make everything a compound path. That's going to cut that out. I know last time I used subtract, this time I use compound path. I did that on purpose. It's very complex. Now, I'm not going to explain the difference between them here. You can always join our Essentials with Silhouette Studio program to truly learn the differences between compound path and subtract, okay? So that part is done, and we're going to make her dress purple like it is here. So we're going to go to the color dropper up here and select the color there, and we can group it or use keyboard shortcuts. Her ice cream, I'll let you guys choose the flavor of ice cream, and then I'll put that, so a solid color, and I'll make the ice cream that color. We will use, we'll give her a silver spoon. We'll make this this color here, but I will let you guys decide the flavor of the ice cream just by writing in the chat. And we're going to make her bow, and the headband for her bow. So this one is hers. We'll make that bow purple. And we're missing this section right here. All right, so we made her bow purple. We're going to make her glasses hot pink. Ooh, wait, whoa, wrong color. All right. We're going to make the inside part this blue color. We're going to subtract this part. We're going to subtract this part and make our highlight white. Okay, so she is technically, of course, we don't have stars and stuff, but she is now technically the same colors that are over here. I'll even make her cup this purple like it is over there. All right, before I do, why is this? Oh, I guess that's not supposed to be Minnie. I'm finna delete that piece because that can just be Minnie Mouse's head. I don't need that piece. All right, I mean, not Minnie, Daisy. So now she is fully colored in. We want to leave the whites right there because that should be white. That's just a separator of her arm. We don't want to cut that out. We want to leave that as white. All right, so question over here was, what is the purpose of adding color? Do you have to do this when using vinyl? Is this for making stickers? You fill it in, cut for color for whatever you want. If you want to cut it in vinyl and you want to know what color vinyl to put on your mat, yes, filling it in with color It's going to be a lot. It's going to be helpful versus trying to just look at a picture and knowing what to move. You fill it in with color. It can be used in digital things. You can take it and put it on the background, make an invitation, make a banner, make a flyer, make a sticker, make chip bags with it, make Capri Suns, Pringles, Snickers, Kit Kats, like so any party favors. You can use it to make a cake topper. If you want to make a sticker with it, yes, you can go ahead, arrange it, turn on your print and cut, and either put an offset around it to have an offset around the whole thing for a sticker, or you can contour cut it right to the edge of it. Filling it in with color just is making a full color image. What you do with that is totally up to you, whether you separate it for different layers and different colors of vinyl, whether it's HTV or adhesive vinyl, or if you use paper, that is up to you. You just have to create it, and whatever resources, whatever supplies you have, whatever you do, creatively or as a craft, you can do it with it. There is no limitation in what you do with it after you have created, okay? So one person said to make it strawberry, cherry. Someone says, join the class. You will not regret the investment. And it's 55% off right now. Can you run back over the steps to start coloring these? So we've been on for an hour and a half. Not sure where you jumped in at. So I'll just kind of talk you through it. You're going to do a trace. Once you do a trace, you want to fill it with color and then release compound path. And once you release compound path, you can just start filling it in with color. So chocolate, the dark brown may look great too. Maybe strawberry would be best. So I got a couple of chocolates, couple of strawberries. So we also have daisy. So since we have chocolate, strawberry, cherry, like that would be more like a reddish type tone. I mean, I'll walk through. So like you can make it any color. So that color here, which we kind of like a strawberry. I think that would probably be more like a cherry because it's like a really deep red. We can make it different, colors for chocolate. So we can make this whatever. So I'll make hers because chocolate isn't really like a dark brown. It's kind of like, I think that's too dark too. I think chocolate is more like this color. So we'll do hers chocolate and then we'll do Daisy's. I'll just select this and it was more of a strawberry, which is normally like a softer pink. I think that's way too dark for what strawberry ice cream looks like. Strawberry ice cream is more like that pink. So we'll do that. Yes, the possibilities are completely endless. Ooh, mint green, mint chocolate chip. I like that. See, that's different. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and make this. I like mint green. I do like that. See, thank you for thinking outside the box. Let's see. Do I already have one? I do not. Because that color would be, nope. I'm going to search for, and although it may, depending on how I'm going to print, it may not come out right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search mint green. Just as far as a color, right? So I'm going to bring this over here. So let's say I want to use this one or this one as like a mint green. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to copy it, paste it over here, select my ice cream, use my dropper, fill that in. I now have mint green ice cream. And I could also go in and I can make little shapes to add chocolate chips to it, stuff like that. There are ways to go in here and make it look like it's swirly ice cream and stuff like that. Once you have this as a vector, there's a lot of things that you can do to now modify this even more and enhance it even more. Ooh, cookies and cream. That's my favorite kind. But cookies and cream requires me to put specks on it so that there's cookies and cream. So I was going more so for like solid colors of ice cream because I'm not going through how to make it those specialty ones. Thank you. Can I use this program on it? No, you cannot. You cannot. It has to be a desktop or a laptop. Oh no, I lost my computer during the hurricane. Yes, unfortunately, you are not able to. They kind of have a web version. I mean, you can somewhat do like some basic things, but the web version isn't all that great. The tracing part of it to me isn't all that great. I'll eventually do a couple videos on the new beta web version, but it's definitely nothing like the actual program version. All right, so now let's finish filling in Daisy according to the colors over here. All right. So we're going to do her bow. Oh, there's an opening right here. So we'll do her bow and we'll make that this color pink. Her face should be white. Oh, they tried. I just realized they tried Daisy. Why they made her neck not white over here? All right, so we're going to do her hands, her neck, her arms, her fingers, and these all should be white. And we're, you know what? I'm going to, we'll just leave it all together. Normally I would do the face and group that by itself. Her eyes are open. So on here, they have purple because I guess like, eyeshadow, but her eyes are fully open. So we want this area to also be white, which makes her look a little weird. So I think I'm going to add, I think I want to add what looks like eyeshadow here because yeah, I think I'm gonna close. Well, then I have to add eyelashes, but white on white looks a little crazy. Okay, look a little crazy. Yeah, see, then I would have to like add lashes to this. And I would have to do that later. But you can just see like me changing that and making it kind of her eyes are a little bit closed because all that white on white was looking a little crazy. And then we're going to do her beak. We're going to do the inside. That's not the color that's there, but that's okay. We're going to do purple. Oh, I forgot her finger too. All right, so we're going to group that. Oh, this area should be open. Let's do her glasses. Not the right color. Let's do the insides. Let's take away. And then make these highlights white. And this is a part of her headband or her bow. This is probably her. Okay, no, this is a part of her glasses. Okay, wait, let me look over here on that other one. Oh, this was a part of her head. This was a part of, okay, so this is the part of the bow and then her head. I was trying to figure out what the heck these parts were. So this should be white. And then this is, I'm guessing still pink. That looks a little weird. I think I'm going to just combine that. So I'm going to go here and oh, you know what? There, where that should have been. Okay, no. Actually, no. I can leave it like that. But I'm going to create a shape right here. Oh, they scored a touchdown. I'm going to thicken that. And I'm going to subtract that. There we go. So I could have made it a little bit thicker, but it's fine for now. And I need to fix the color inside of her mouth here. All right, we're going to make this the color of the cone. This area right here should be a full-on opening. So we're going to connect these two pieces. And then subtract that out so that that's an opening. Let's see. We'll give her the same silver spoon that Minnie has. Now we're going to color in the leaves for the strawberry. We'll make the strawberry red. And I could hold down Shift and click all of these little pieces. Not gonna happen, Captain. Oh shoot, I'm using the free version. See, this is why it's hard. I was about to use my lasso tool, but I can't because I am using the free version. So I got to show you how to do this the free way. It's okay. So you just go in and I'm going to select everything here so that I'm picking up on the seeds of the strawberry. I'm going to hold down Shift. I'm going to click on the background because I don't need that. I don't need the spoon. I didn't have the spoon. I don't need the ice cream part. So see, now my box is right here. I don't need the red part. I don't need the leaves. So now I have just the little seeds of the strawberry. And I'm going to group that. Most people make those black, and I don't really understand why. I mean, I guess some of them are black, but those seeds really are like more like yellowish. And I could always do, like, if I do an offset on it, to put a little bit of like separation and put black around it. So if I go offset, make my offset a little bit smaller. I can't tell how big that is because I'm not zoomed in. Okay, that works. I'm going to select everything, turn my line color off, and there we go. We didn't use the original colors here. Oh, her eyes are blue on this one. Okay, so I could go back. So on here, because I said that, I'm like, but as a parent whose kid had jaundice when he was born, making her eyes blue doesn't seem right either, because that's like jaundice. And my kid had jaundice when he was born. So I don't really want to make her eyes light blue. Zani Mani had to be under the blue light because he had jaundice. I'm going to leave them at just her eyes are slightly closed. I'm going to add some lashes. Well, I could add those later. I'm not going to add them on here, but I would go in and put some lashes so that she don't like she has droopy eyes. But for the most part, this is how we fill this in with color. Definitely. A master at work. I have to say you are the best at this. Thank you, Jessie. Now Minnie's ice cream is looking so plain. Well, she liked plain ice cream. She never had a strawberry in hers, so she just won't plain old ice cream. Now there is a way to technically go in there, like if I really, really wanted to add fruit to hers, but that would be more of an advanced skill. She says, go ahead and show out. Ha! Thanks. Filling in with color is simple. Now, all the other things, I'm not going to say that part is simple because it takes, skills to learn it. 26 years in, it should be a little, look simple for me because I'm 26 years in with graphic designing. The more you practice, I promise you, it will become like clockwork for you and it will seem very simple. As a beginner, yes, it seems intimidating. It doesn't seem simple. But if you continue at it, I promise you it will get easier each and every time. But you have to actually do the work and practice. Practice is not working on it for an order. That's when you get the most frustrated. You have to do it when you have no orders. Pick a random picture and you're going to do these steps. After you have done it to that random picture, guess what? In 2 weeks, a week, go back to that exact same original one, trace it again. You are not going to know your progress for something until you've done it a couple of times. I coach cheer. We have the same cheers. We have the same competition routine from the beginning of the season, and we practice the same thing over and over and over again, month after month, week after week after week, so that we can perfect it in hopes that it's going to be perfect on that mat. You have to practice. You have to do repetition. Use the same exact image, and each time you want it to be clearer. You want it to be like second nature, what you're supposed to click on. It should be maybe faster each and every time, but you want to feel confident every single time that you do it. If you are a beginner and you're just learning, take an image like your favorite one, trace that thing at least 10 times. At least 10 times. And each time you should be better and better and better. Even if, like, let's say after the 5th time, you feel like you're proficient in it, wait a couple of days, do some other things, and then go back. But at least 10 times for that one image. How would you add glitter or a pattern to their bows? I was waiting for some good questions. All right. So if you would like to add a pattern or glitter, depending on if you have it in your fill panel. So if you already have it in your fill panel, all you would have to do is go over to the patterns, find that glitter one, and add it to it. So I'll just do this one for now. I'm going to make these a compound pass, so it's all like one. So I can literally add any pattern to this. If you don't have it and you're bringing in a pattern, you're going to bring that in, which I'm just going to simulate it. So let's say I went online and I brought in a pattern. You're going to send that to the back. Well, you don't really have to, but you want to see it. So we're going to send that to the back, hold down shift, click on our element that we want to fill and crop, and it's going to be filled in. So that is how you would fill it in with a pattern and or glitter. Practice, practice, practice. I believe you because I'm not so afraid of edit points. Yeah, that's a big one for a lot of people too, edit points. I'm scared of edit points too. No need to be scared of them. If you take the training and you go through it and you go through it step by step, how we teach it, edit points will become, again, like clockwork to you. Thank you for all you do, even when you scream at us for not listening. I had to get it out of my system. I'm good now. I'm good. I'm good. I promise. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. All right. I'm not going to draw out sprinkles. Someone up here, where is it, asked about sprinkles, right? You don't even know how, like, guys, you don't have to know how to draw. I promise you, you don't. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and I'm going to type in ice cream with sprinkles clip art. Right? So we have, let's see how, that's a low resolution. I'll just go here. Let's see. This one, maybe not that great. Oh, this is a really high resolution one. Oh, but this is also light. Yeah, we can do down here. So I'm going to take this image. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to bring it over here and I'm going to go paste. Oh, that sucker's huge. All right. We're going to come over to our trace window, select trace area, place our box just in this small section because the background is dark and the chips are not. And we're going to go trace. Not trace and detach, just trace. We're going to move that out of the way. We're going to fill this in with color. Release compound path. It's going to release everything. Select, because it has some little specks. Delete. A couple little specks over here. Delete. You now have sprinkles. We can either leave them as solid colors or the way we did the strawberry with the outline. So I'm going to put an offset on these, make it a little bit bigger. Bam, apply. I will make those black for now and select everything. I don't need these, whatever that is right there. I'm just going to duplicate it, shrink them down. So you don't have to know how to draw. I keep telling y'all, you do not know. You don't have to know how to design. All you got to do is know how to trace. Did I tell y'all? Tracing is the fundamental, most essential skill to learn in Silhouette Studio. Yeah. You're bamboozled. You know, you asked the question, it was gonna come. Now, if no one would have asked about sprinkles, I wasn't gonna do that because I needed some engagement. I didn't have a problem showing the sprinkles, but if you don't ask, I'm not volunteering anything past the tracing. So we're gonna click here and move it over. You can rotate it. Click here and here. Bring this down. And then to duplicate, keyboard shortcuts, hold down shift and move it. I like to 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 move it. And then go in and make them whatever colors you want. Move those line colors. And we have sprinkles. So you trace then release, not yes. So to get those sprinkles, I don't need that. So trace and detach well, I can't do it with this one. Well, I technically can do it with this one, but I have to invert it. So let's say I go here and I invert these so this becomes white. If I wanted to isolate the entire ice cream, I would select it, let it all pick up, and I would trace and detach. But I only wanted the sprinkles. So I do not trace and detach that. I do it as a regular trace. And to release those sprinkles from that background, I release so that all of the shapes become selectable. See, now that's removed. I don't really like this, so I'm going to go internal offset, apply, crop. Okay, there we go. But for the sprinkles, I'm going to choose the darker area. This area would not work because I have to take my threshold up to, I probably could have gotten some of these, but some of these colors like are close to that pink. So if I go like this, I probably would have gotten some of them, but not all of those colors at this threshold at 45%, because Silhouette Studio doesn't know colors. Someone mentioned earlier about trace by color. I could have selected them and traced by color, but then I would have to do each individual. That's what I was saying. Trace by color is not always the best option, because I would have had to trace by color each individual sprinkle based off of the color. Whereas when you just do a regular trace, you can get them all and then fill it in with color. So you see how I'm at 45%. None of those sprinkles are picking up because they're in the same color range. They are lighter colors. So I would have to adjust my threshold down to try and pick some of the colors up. I'm still not picking them up. So by the time, so I picked up a few there, picked up a few there. So see, by the time I go up, I can, so these are the only ones that are like a contrast to the background. If I go up anymore trying to get those other two, it's going to pick up the background as well. None of them are going to show up. Well, actually it picks up before those last two. So I could take my threshold up and I can sample just those sprinkles. Still kind of have to release compound path to separate them and be able to move them around. But I can just trace this. But I chose to do the darker ones because I didn't have to worry about adjusting my threshold, because the background, that layer is chocolate. It picks up that darker area, and the sprinkles are completely surrounded except for this one. So when I go trace on this and I move the original out of the way, in order for me to select these individual sprinkles, right now, they are all a part of it. It's a whole. I cannot select them and separate them. That's what release compound path does. It releases all of the little shapes. So we right click and release compound path. We don't need the background, so we just click on that and delete it. We now can select each of these, make them whatever colors we want. We can rotate them, place them wherever we want. So there's a distinct difference between trace outer edge, and trace and detach. And I could put a tray on top. Now that part I'm not going to do because that requires more designing, and then there's other stuff there. So I would have to subtract a lot of things out. I have to weld some things. So cherry on top, like to where it really fits in, that one I don't feel like doing. I'm not even going to lie. So this image now is ready to cut as a die cut or sticker. Yes, as a high resolution. It can be used for anything. You don't have to add offset to it. If you wanted to do this as a sticker, just as is, you would group it all together. And I'm going to make it smaller. And when you go to cut, of course, you have to do all of the trace and detach and registration mark stuff. But instead of it being set to cut, you would set cut edge, and it will cut around all of the edges. Now, if you don't want it to cut inside where their arms are, then you need to go in and do a little bit of extra stuff, or you can put like an offset. Even if you put an offset, there's still more that you have to do. See, now y'all getting in my business, okay? Now y'all get into the business of silhouette. Now, if you're wanting to learn all of that, I'm going to need you to come on over to Essentials of Silhouette Studio, and I can do a video for that. Can't give y'all team too much. Can't give you everything in this one. We were focusing on tracing, but there is a way for you to turn this into a sticker. You have to do an offset. You're going to have to do some other things to it to make it solid. But I can't have y'all all up in my business like that. Not for free 99. This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I have been practicing tracing when I get a chance, and I'm getting much better at doing it, but I've learned even more today. That is always the goal. Okay. So use the darker color. In this particular case, yes, it was better for me to use the darker layer because it just made the process easier. This is an awesome way to take an image and make it your own. Exactly. She says, join. EOS is well worth the investment. She says, I'm in EOS class and just getting to it. So what I will do, I got mad at them earlier and I shut this live down. I shut it down. You hear me? I still have my screen recorder open. So what I'll do for you, I'm going to go ahead after this is over, since it's already up here. I'm going to go ahead, put the offset, do all the things to it. Just go into your dashboard. Why am I whispering like I'm talking just to you, like the rest of them can't hear me? I don't know, child. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do that. Just go to your EOS dashboard, probably like tomorrow. And I'm going to put it on there for you. Then you can see that process. Okay. All right, cool. Don't tell anybody else though. All right. Don't tell the rest of them I'm going to do that for you. Okay. So I'm going to do that. Because it's still open. Because baby, I shut it down earlier. But we ready to go, So I'm going to go ahead and put it on the screen and set it up right now. So you don't think I'm playing. Put my little screen recorder on. And then when we get done, exactly, this message will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, see, somebody else said that now she needs a cherry. I'll add that one to the dashboard too. How to add a cherry. Okay. I'll add that one. Come on over, baby. All right. Last call. Cause they sound like, let me see. Let me check this score. They around here screaming. They acting like the Dolphins doing something. Let me see what this score looking like. Oh, snap. We are winning. And, the game about to be over with. Wow, we're really gonna win. My brother said he picked us. He's gonna call my phone in less than a minute. And I don't know who has the ball. Oh, we have the ball. Miami, 1st and 10 at Miami 17, 55 seconds left. My brother's gonna call me and say, see, I told you y'all was gonna win. I sat here with y'all. I didn't watch any of the game, but we're up 15-10. We're actually we're gonna win this game. Wow. Okay. Since I don't miss the whole game, last call. I know, right? We normally do a sale for when Dolphins win. But the prices right now are really great. So we're not going to do an additional sale because the prices are really great right now. I don't know. I might. Y'all got to come to the website tomorrow and see if I decide to do one, because we normally do a Dolphins win, but the prices were actually very, very low right now. So what is EOS? All right. So EOS stands for Essentials of, it's EOSS, Essentials of Silhouette Studio. There were some people that did comment that they wanted to know about Essentials of Silhouette Studio, and they wanted to know about the Creative Lounge. So Essentials of Silhouette Studio is our flagship program or class. With Essentials of Silhouette Studio, you learn Silhouette Studio inside and out. Okay, wait, I got to get rid of you for a second. You learn Silhouette Studio inside and out. It is on sale right now. It's discounted at checkout, 55% off. If you're going to use buy now, pay later like Sezzle, Shop Pay, please make sure that you are choosing the buy now, pay later option. If not, you can lose access and we will just refund you your money, okay? Make sure you use buy now, pay later, because we take a major hit when you guys use buy now, pay later, but you're paying the regular price because they take out a big, big chunk. But you're going to click on that and you would choose buy now, pay later, or the one-time full-time option. I plan to update this listing. We originally taught Essentials of Silhouette Studio 2 years ago. Okay. And we taught it over the course of 30 days. If you go through the thumbnails, it still shows you exactly how it was taught and what you will learn on each day. We broke it down. So it's not this super long, drawn out. Every day is to a specific topic. And we did that over 30 days. You really got the bulk of the learning over 26 days. And then after that, we started creating things. We started creating templates, doing some designing, answering some design questions, showing templates. We had Q&As. So the bulk of the training was done by day, 24. And then we had creating templates. So really by day 24, the rest of it was really applying all of these different things and me just showing you different ways of doing stuff. So that was 2 years ago, March 2022. I did not teach a new class in this for 2 years. This year, however, at the top of the year, we did what was called the refresher. It was 13 weeks. So a lot of these classes and sessions were combined together because we didn't have 30 days. We had 13 weeks. We met every week on a Wednesday. We had a study hall session every single week to go over what you have learned or for you to ask questions. Then we took a break for the second quarter, third quarter. We came back. We had a review session. So the sessions went a little bit faster. There's a little bit more information in each one because it was meant to be more of a review because you still have access to the original 30 days, which we encourage you to go through. You're going to have to be disciplined and go through that information. It is already there. I do not plan to go back over it like we did in that one. You have to be disciplined to go through it. But I do make myself available when you have questions. Each and every video has an option for you to add questions to it. My girl, Baby Jean, she comments in real time whenever she's watching it. She asks her questions. I absolutely love her as a student, and I use her as an example all the time. Miss Baby Jean, she does the thing with it. So you can we lost. Oh my God, something happened. My kid is screaming. What happened? My kid is screaming. Something happened. They did something stupid. They did something stupid. My kid is screaming. He said, oh my God, they did something stupid. My kid is in there screaming. And see, I got all excited. They just did something stupid. I don't know what they did stupid, but they did something stupid. They did something stupid. Yeah, they did 12 seconds left. Oh, wow. New England has the ball on Miami 36. They turned it over with 12 seconds left. They can literally score. Wow. 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 They couldn't hold on to the ball for a freaking minute. That's my Dolphins for you. Oh, wow. Anywho. See, that's why I hop off line and try to go celebrate. So anyway, we encourage you to go through it. We will still have study hall sessions as you're going through it so that you can attend a live Zoom, ask questions for anything that you went over. I will go back to that. So you say, hey, I had a question from day blah, 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 blah. Oh, we still won. Good. So if you had a question from day blah, 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 I don't understand this. You can share your screen with me. I help you in real time. So we never leave you to your own vices. We are there to help, encourage, support. You can post questions in the student union, things of that nature. So it is a way to fully understand Silhouette Studio at its basic level. And then we have I'll add videos I said, I'll show you extended videos, exclusive videos, help videos. I've added some lessons to it, some homework to it. So it's always things to keep you in the program and practicing. So that's what Essentials of Silhouette Studio is. Now, those who got around 2 years ago, got around when we first, some people got it for as low as $63. Cost you a little bit more right now, but it is on sale at checkout for 55% off. So you can take advantage of that. And that actually will end today because it's been on sale for 55% off for 2 weeks. That will end today. Okay. No, tacky paper is not in stock. We just wrapped up the pre-sale. If you want tacky paper, I suggest you go because I need to put the order in tomorrow. We're actually a week out. But of course, I always put that buffer in there. That's why I say 8 to 10 weeks to allow that for delivery, to give me a little bit of time for people, for the latecomers and, those who drag their feet. If you want tacky paper, you have to put it in for the pre-order. If not, there is no guarantee that you're going to get it. We're not keeping that in stock. We order a little bit extra, but not a whole lot. But when it comes in and it's ready to ship, the price darn near doubles. So if you want tacky paper, if you want tacky rolls, if you want the fast dry rolls, you have to go onto the website, go to the main page. It's still there, Q3 pre-order. That's for the tacky paper. This is for the rolls. You have to pre-order. If you don't, there is no guarantee that you're going to get it, because we're not ordering a whole lot of it to keep in stock, especially at the end of the year. That's the worst thing that we can do as business, is to have a bunch of inventory, like new inventory in, because that's going to F up our taxes. So it's only pre-order right now, and we're going to have a limited stock. Now, when we do the pre-order again at the beginning of next year, we'll order a little bit more to come in to have ready to ship. But at Q3, we do not order a whole lot. Okay, and then Creative Lounge is, make sure, okay. So Creative Lounge, we're going to all courses. It's on 365 Creative Academy. You have to enroll in that directly on our 365 Creative Academy website. And you're going to go to Creative Lounge. There's a couple different payment options. You can pay month to month, $36.50. If you do an automatic renewal, it is $36.50 the first month, $25.63 each additional month. If you do the 3 months or quarterly, it's $73.65. It is $256 if you do it annually. And this is where we have our design challenges. We have different topics. Here is a list of the topics. The calendar is there as well. The list of the topics. We just did cutting machines on Saturday. And right after this, I'm going to put all of the playbacks in. I have quite a few playbacks to catch up on. Tomorrow we're going over which design platform best fits your needs. So we're going to talk about Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, Illustrator, Canva, Cricut Design Space, Procreate, like different things like that, so that you understand what their benefits are, like their pros, cons, their advantages, disadvantages, things like that, to help you decide which program, if you're going to use one, or programs best fits your needs for what you're trying to do creatively. We have design challenges every single Wednesday at 6:30. On Thursday, 12 ways to decorate apparel. Now, I may have to I'm going to pre-record this tomorrow. We have a storm that's brewing. We may not have power come Thursday and Friday. So I do plan to pre-record this. If I have to upload that instead, it's going to release on, I'll probably just release both of them on Thursday if I do when I do the pre-recording. But just in case we do not have power, I actually plan to record this tomorrow while the kiddos are at school, so that we have this one. I'm hoping that we can still do the design challenge, but I do plan to actually pre-record this one as well, just in case we lose power here, okay? And then now, if we lose power, and I don't know about doing these, we do have a generator, so I might be able to still do some lives, because I have a generator that's dedicated for just my room, and I'll just have to kind of set that up to where we can power the things here. That's the one thing we did. Over the years, we brought a generator to where everybody's room can have a generator, or some type of power supply. So not a generator. Everybody's room has some sort of power supply. So I should be able to still do it. And the internet has, like, that section has its own generator. So hopefully, I'll still be able to teach, because if I can't teach, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. I don't want to do it myself. But this is the lineup for this month. This month is jam-packed. I mean, jam-packed with lessons. Okay. I had plans to be in Texas, but I forget that is peak hurricane season, and I don't want to kind of plan and then hurricanes, because it's really active out there, especially in the Gulf. So I won't be traveling to Texas. In January they're in California, and then March they're in Atlantic City. I'll be able to do those, but I most likely will not be in Texas for impressions, because I can't take the chance of being stuck. But this is the schedule for Creative Lounge. And we also meet every morning, 9:30. Now that one, even if we have no power, I can do it because I can always be in the car and charge up my phone and do the session from the car. So we meet every morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's kind of like a pro call. It's a Q&A. It's like a little chit chat. It's a way for you to pick my brain. It's a way for you to get some help and assistance for your business, your creative endeavors. So I make myself, it's like open office hours. Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am made available for you guys through the Creative Lounge. So that's that. Okay. I forgot to purchase this program. Need to do it. Yes, definitely get Essential Silhouette Studio. I would love you to wait. I would love to get that program. I have to get a computer, hopefully, in the near future. Thanks for everything you do. And hopefully your guys, what area are you in? Hopefully you guys' power. And I know like where Alexis is. I'm not sure. I got to check on her. I called her the other day, but she didn't respond. Because I know their water was contaminated. So I'm not sure their power back on, but I know they couldn't even use their water. So of course, for all those in the path of Helene, praying, make sure you guys pray for the people in like Tampa, Orlando area, because they're supposed to get the brunt of Milton that's coming through, and it's going to hit as a category 3. If you don't know anything about storms, those lower numbers bring, I mean, it's a lot of wind, but they bring a lot of rain with those lower number storms. And the higher it gets, it's like more wind and things like that. But those lower ones really is where the flood, anything tropical depression, tropical storms, category 1, those dump a lot of water. They're more water, more rain than they are wind. So definitely keep Central Florida in your prayers from the Gulf to the East Coast, because they're going to get it. Oh, wow. You're in Texas. So which storm took your power out? I mean, no, the hurricane took you all have power. The storm took you lost your computer during the one that went that way. Okay. Because it was somebody else that was in South Carolina that was saying they were still without power. Okay, I'm there now. I'm there. All right. So no other questions. Thank you guys. Oh, we got to 20K. Woo-hoo. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so very much. I am out of here. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I know it was 2 hours long, but we really broke down. If you ever have any questions about tracing, bookmark this. Go over to our YouTube, Silaholics Anonymous. Look for this thumbnail. Save it. You can create timestamps for yourself in the comment section. That's for anybody's video, guys. If somebody doesn't do a timestamp, I know that it's helpful, but it also takes time for us to do it. And it's a free training. I didn't hear my Cash App going off this time for thank yous and stuff like that. So it's a free one. And sometimes that adds to, time, like free time to go and do that. But you can add your own timestamps. So as you're watching the video, go through and especially if you're on I think it's the computer one or maybe the phone, there's like a little time thing in the corner. If you click that, it will put the timestamp there, or you can click on the video and see what that timestamp is and type it in. And then you can put what that section is. You can ask your own question. You can tell yourself like, okay, we'll come back to this for X, Y, and Z. There's a way for you guys to utilize these free videos, almost like they're full master classes and paid classes, and you can create your own segments to it just by dropping a comment. And then when you go back to that video on YouTube and you click on that little blue time, it's going to jump to that section. So if there's any part of it that you need more clarity on, you need to go back in and write notes on it. Leave a note for someone else. If that cleared something up for you, if you were normally doing something a certain type of way, but that made it clear for you, put that timestamp, leave that note. That might help someone else. This is how we help each other as a community, where we are leaving little nuggets, leaving breadcrumbs in the comments to help others. All right. So last time, until next time, have a great one. Peace.